Welcome everyone, I hope you're having a very wonderful day and welcome to my guide for blacktail deer for Layton Lakes. Before we begin, I want to quickly break down how today's guide is going to work. So our first section is going to be covering all the blacktail zones and particularly 3 hotspots on the map. And then we're going to be covering on the second part weapon recommendations and then ending today's video with the animal profile. So let's get right into it by opening up my map really quick. So here we are covering the whole map of Layton Lake. We're going to start up in the northern section over here. Now, these 4 lakes right here can have blacktail deer. I just want to say that this one right at the very top, I don't know if it does because I've not had any zones appear there. So I'm just going to say take that one with a grain of salt. But these guaranteed 3 lakes down here can have blacktail. Moving on further down, we have this big old lake right here. We can have blacktail on the left or right hand side of this lake. And then moving further south, we have this river stretch here, which can have blacktail. And if we move a little bit right to the river here, to this big old lake right here on the map. I'll zoom all the way out so you guys can see it, and zoom all the way back in. You can have blacktail reside at this, and then moving straight down, you can have them at this little lake here, and this other big lake here. And anything to the right of any of the things I just mentioned here is blacktail territory, which you guys will all see at the end of today's animals profile. So let's quickly break down 3 hotspot locations. We're going to move over to this lake. This lake right here has 6 blacktail zones for me. It's pretty big, so I imagine it would have quite a few zones. And here we're going to do a quick count. We have 1, we have 2, we have 3, we have 4, 5, and 6. Now another hotspot location I just want to mention, I don't know if this one's a guaranteed hotspot like this lake would be, but this little lake right here, right next to where I'm at, it's just a little bit to the south of that lake that we just talked about. This one has about 3 zones, and it's pretty packing. I have quite a few male deer there. And then we're going to go actually to our second main hotspot of the day, which I'm going to zoom out here. It's at the Southern Ridge section. It's right here. It should have a roughly between the 5 or 6 amount of zones as well. Let's do a quick count. We have 1, we have 2, we have 3, and 4. And I'm going to count this one as well. This one should be 5. It's just a bunch of marsh right here, so I'm going to count that in as that lake. So those are pretty much all the hotspots for blacktail deer. So we're going to move on to weapon recommendations, so I will see you guys at the locker. Alrighty, so here we are back at the locker. Before I begin, I want to make a quick announcement. This is going to be affecting all future guide videos from here on out. I'm going to be limiting myself to at least 5 weapons per video, just so I can keep the limitations of the time down on the video, because I will ramble on forever when it comes to these weapon recommendations. I've seen it go up to 4 minutes at some point, so I'm going to try to keep it toned down a little bit, and we're going to be trying 5 weapons today, so I hope you guys are okay with that. So let's get right into it. First off, I'm only going to be covering rifles, handguns, and shotguns. I will not be covering bows because I'm not a bow expert, and I'll leave that to professionals. Secondly, these are my personal recommendations. I always say go out there and explore and see what suits your hunt needs and what you enjoy playing with. And then lastly, I'll be mentioning all the DLCs weapons come from in case you want to pick them up for yourself. So our first rifle today is the Eckers 30-06. It's a very solid bolt action. I use this pretty much for hunting barrasinga, the white-tailed deer, and the blacktail. It's very phenomenal. You have 4 rounds in there. You can place decent follow-up shots. And you can find that bad boy in Weapon Pack 3. Moving on to the semi-auto version. I figured you guys would know this was becoming the M1 Garand, or the Garand, however you want to pronounce it. It's a very iconic World War II rifle. It's semi-automatic. You have 5 rounds in there. And it's just a beautiful, solid rifle. And you can find it in the Smoke and Barrels Weapon Pack DLC. Moving on to my favorite rifle in the game. The Malware 7mm Magnum is a very solid rifle. It'll drop bucks on the spot. You won't have to go far for them at all. They'll just drop right there like a sack of potatoes. And it's probably one of the most accurate rifles I played with in this game. I could be wrong, but it is very beautiful. And you can find it in the Hunter Power Pack DLC. Moving on to handguns, we have the 4570 Jernberg Superior. It's very gimmicky. You only have 1 shot. You're not going to be placing follow-up shots, but it will drop bucks as well. And you can put in rifle scopes, which makes it, in my opinion, more superior to many of the other pistols within the game. And you could find it in the High Caliber Weapon Pack DLC. Moving on to shotguns, this one's going to be kind of weird compared to all the other shotguns. You have semi-autos, but I like to use this bad boy here, the Strecker 20 gauge. The double barrel, the side-by-side, it's very iconic. I love using it for everything. I've done quite a few whitetail hunts with it and recorded them. It's a blast to use, and you can find it in the Wild Goose Chase Pack DLC. That'll pretty much cover it for weapon recommendations, so I will see you guys over at the animal profile. Alrighty folks, so here we are at the end of today's video. Before I do the animal profile breakdown, I want to quickly mention something very, very important about 2 of my other guide videos. It's for the whitetail deer for Layton Lakes and New England Mountains. I may or may not have left old information in there for the ammo chart for a different animal. So some of those rounds will not give you full integrity kills for them. So I may have to sort of go back and redo the whole video. But for now, I don't know how long that's going to take. So I did leave a comment down below with all the correct ammo used for it for full integrity kills, because it might take me a week or two before I get back into going back and fixing some of my other guides. Mostly just due to all the content I have planned currently for you guys. So, with that out of the way, let's get into our blacktail deer profile breakdown. We're going to be starting over here on the left-hand side. We have our class, difficulty, silver, gold, diamond, threshold range. We have our weight from kilograms to pounds from least to greatest. We have our fur types covering common, rare, and very rare. Moving on to the center map, we don't need to talk about it because we already covered that in the first part of the video. And to the top right, we have all of our time zones to make your hunt life 10 times easier. And then below that, we have our correct ammo chart for this class. And that pretty much covers it for today's video. If you guys enjoyed, please leave a like. It helps out the channel. I hope you guys have a very wonderful day. Happy hunting, good luck, and I will see you in the next one.